Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are going to go land on Minmus. Now technically this is the moon landing machine. We've cut it down a little bit. It's slightly cost cut, although I think it's actually slightly more expensive, but that is probably due to the ionographer here. I believe that's a pretty expensive part. Let's see here, 7,000? Yeah, that's reasonably expensive. And we also added these heat shields on here because I'm thinking that we can recover more. So that would be absolutely great. So as far as our crew goes, I think we're pretty much good to go here. Jeb Bill Bob seems good. We already have Valentina at 2-star, so Jeb actually has less XP than Valentina right now. So I think this is completely fine. Let's go ahead and launch this as is. I think we're good to go. Actually, we want to double check our staging first. That is definitely a thing that we want to do. I believe we checked this last episode, but I want to make absolutely sure here. Yeah, that all looks good. Okay, beautiful. So let's go ahead and launch this. Cool. So as soon as we get loaded on in here, we'll take off. There we go. Okay, so we will throttle up, SAS on. I don't really care about when we're going to take off. We can deal with that later on. So off we go. Just double checking our off the pad thrust to weight. We definitely have a less weight in this thing, so that'll be fine. But this is heavier than our previous rocket. That's definitely for sure. We're just going to go ahead and start a gravity turn here. And we'll just lock to prograde here. Now, unfortunately, Jeb doesn't have the ability to lock to the maneuver node quite yet, but at least we can lock to normal, anti-normal, radial out, and radial in. So that's nice. Very convenient to be able to do that, of course. Okay. So our time to apoapsis is increasing, as we would expect. We've got another 45 seconds of burn left in our main tanks here. Oh, it looks like we're just starting to get a sunrise here. That's neat. This is like just pre-dawn. Cool. Absolutely great. So we're cruising along at about 500 meters per second. And we're about a minute away from apoapsis here. And that's continuing to push up. Cool. I feel like we've got too much vertical speed, but that's pretty normal. In fact, we definitely have too much vertical speed. I'm going to go over into orbital mode here, and we'll just hold at prograde here for the moment, because we are about to have a detachment. Okay. Clean detachment. Good. From here, we can definitely just head over to the horizon. We do not need to be at prograde anymore. That is for sure. So we're going to head all the way over, and we're just getting horizontal speed here. We've got more than enough vertical speed, and let's just get as much horizontal as we possibly can. Cool. So we can see that our time to apoapsis is holding. Actually, it's increasing right now, so we're fine. We're just going to keep burning in this horizontal position until we are at a... Actually, let's go ahead and grab our mystery goo and our material study here, since there's apparently science we can grab from that. We can reset those, so that'll be completely fine. And we're just going to continue burning here until we get up to about 200 kilometers is going to be our target. Cool. So we're just getting a whole bunch of horizontal velocity here. Our horizontal speed is definitely up there, so that is great. Apoapsis height of 170 kilometers, 180, 190, and 200. Cool. So, main engine shut down there, and let's go ahead and push out from here into a circularization. That'll do. Close enough. Again, sadly, we can't lock to maneuver just yet, but we'll get there eventually. Let's go ahead and extend our solar panels, although realistically this one should not be extended. I'm going to wait to extend our solar panels, actually, because Bob needs to EVA here. We need to reset some of this. Although, Why don't you go ahead and hop back in, Bob? We're going to stage this and get rid of that. Kaboom. And that's why we didn't want Bob on the ladder at that moment. He realizes what happened. Okay, let's EVA. Okay, Bob. We're going to go reset all of this. Ooh, that wasn't quite the button I was looking for, but it's all good. We'll open this service bay. And we need to grab our mystery goo container here. We will... Actually, we should collect this. There we go. Now we will reset this. Just got to head in a little bit. Restore and restore. Cool. We don't need any other data from this area, so that'll be all we need for the moment. So let's just head back on in. Fantastic. Okay, so at this point, we need to head around to the maneuver node. We've got another 50 seconds of burn left in this tank. That's great. And in this tank, this is a much truncated tank, so that'll be absolutely fine. Let's head on over here, and we'll warp to our burn. Something about like that. Cool. This will, of course, be a pro-grade burn. And we're going to warp a little bit closer here. And we'll begin our circularization right about now. Fantastic. Okay. We are in orbit and just circularizing. This is close enough. That'll be fine. Now, in retrospect, we maybe should have removed the heat shield here, but I'm thinking about that right now as like a backup. In case it becomes obvious that we're not going to be able to recover all of this, we can just jettison it and land on this heat shield. That will mean that these heat shields are a bit of a waste, but hopefully that doesn't end up being the case. We're just thinking of that as a backup, so that'll be fine. Our next maneuver is, of course, to set Minmus as our target. And at this descending node, we are going to need to burn anti-normal here. Nope, normal. I always do that wrong. Okay, so we're just going to change our inclination about like that. That's another 211 delta V there out of this big old tank. And realistically, we've still got some overkill here. We knew that that would likely be the case, but truncating this stage was definitely the correct call. So let's see, we should position for normal here, correct? Yes, this is normal. This is not anti-normal. Okay, so we'll position for that. Oh, we should remember to extend our solar panels before we run out of juice here. We will eventually, so let's just extend those on out. Cool. Can't believe I almost forgot about that one. Luckily, we have plenty of electric charge for now. And we've got monoprop in this too. I forgot about that. We could have cut the monoprop, but we'll recover it. It'll be fine. No problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and warp forward a bit here. And we will be commencing this warp in about 30 seconds here. Or rather, commencing this burn in about 30 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1, mark. Cool. I believe we overshot there. We're going to start flipping over to anti-normal. Yeah, we definitely overshot. So we're going to flip to anti-normal. I'm going to thrust limit this down to like 10% thrust. And we'll just physics warp our way around. That's retrograde. Anti-normal. It's definitely a little wiggly, but that'll be fine. And let's just try to adjust this a little bit. This is not the most efficient place to burn this, that's for sure. That's probably about the best we're going to get, although we could push the descending node over to here and then go back to normal and burn up at this descending node. So that's what we're going to do here. Back we go. So we're going to go to normal, and then we will burn that at the descending node, and just try to get that a little bit more correct. I definitely overshot it, which is my own fault. So I'll just go ahead and warp up to here, and let's bring that on back. That time warp is definitely a little slow, but it'll be fine. Okay, so we can burn it about now. Cool, that'll do. Okay, so now we need an intercept course. So that'll be sometime around, I think this ascending node will probably be about the right time. Let's see what we've got. That's pretty close. We're going to want to bring this periapsis in a little bit. I'd like to grab this maneuver here, which is always a little bit challenging to do from that angle, but there we go. And we'll just bring this on back. Down to about 30 kilometers would be ideal. That'll do. We will almost certainly have to adjust this periapsis later on. Okay, so let's just flip around here to, honestly, retrograde is I think where we want to be. Yeah, we want to be at retrograde right now, although that will change once we warp around. Okay, whoa, that was spicy. Let's take that off of physics warp, and let's just try to position back over here. There we go. And we will warp on around, and we will commence that burn in about another 5 minutes. Cool. Make that about 50 seconds. We'll continue to warp here. 30 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. You know what? We need to unthrust limit this and warp a little further. I was like, why are we so far off of prograde? Then I was like, oh, wait. Sure, this is a prograde burn, and we don't care about this thrust limit, so we're not going to burn it for that long. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and warp a little closer. That's Minmus right there. Cool. So we're going to start this burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. And off we go. That's our destination right there, that tiny little dark speck. Fantastic. So this burn will be commencing for a little while here. We're going to burn out this stage, which is great. We're very glad about that. And off we go. Cool. So we've got like 2 minutes of burn here. It's going to be potentially a lot, but we're going to have to make some corrections to this trajectory. I think that's pretty obvious. Let's just make our way up over this direction and make a slight corrective burn here. Okay. So something along the lines of that will be what we'll be targeting. Vaguely along the lines of that. Okay. How do we do? Not that great is the answer. Do we need to burn prograde or retrograde here? Retrograde. Okay. I'm not shocked about that one. So we'll flip around to retrograde. We can turn much more quickly and easily now, so that's great. And we will just commence a very gentle burn here. In fact, we need to thrust limit this. We're going to thrust limit this down to 0.5%. There we go. And we're just going to gently bring this in. Cool. We're aiming for 30 kilometers. There, that's close enough. So that'll do. We can unthrust limit this now. And once we arrive here, we're of course going to be looking to circularize. So we come in retrograde here. Is this overall a retrograde orbit? It doesn't really matter, actually. So it's fine if it's retrograde. I don't care about that. So we're just going to bring this on in like so. The Great Flats are currently in shadow. Hopefully by the time we get there, they won't be. We'll see. We'll see what that ends up looking like. But this is going to be about 161.5 meters per second. We're going to be expending most of our landing out of this tank. So that will be absolutely fine. Let's go ahead and position for that, and then we'll warp. I do expect that there will be a small amount of... A small amount of science that we can get from in-space low over Minmus. And hey, there's some surface-deployed mystery goo observations from the moon's surface. Always nice. Pretty soon we're going to have to start actually starting our colonies, but we're not there yet. Okay, so here we are over Minmus. We are about a minute away at this point from our warp, or rather our burn commencing, our braking burn. And here we go, in space near. So there is a mystery goo observation and a material study to be grabbed from here. It's not worth very much, but we'll grab it, and we'll need to reset that after this burn. We will lock to retrograde and commence our warp. Our burn starts in about 10 seconds. Make that right now. Cool. So we can definitely bring this orbit lower. 30 is like the bare minimum for in-space near. We could target probably something more along the lines of this. But I'm going to go for like, I think 10. Yeah, I think we'll go for 10 kilometers here. So let's bring that up ever so slightly. Something along the lines of this. Cool. So this will require almost no delta V. In fact, on Minmus, we may well be able to land on this. We could give it a go. And let's see here. Great Flats. Yeah, that's looking good. We should definitely... Hang on. I want to double check. We need green moonstone, or green sandstone, right? Yeah, I believe that is from Great Flats. We should head back to the Space Center and double check that. I want to make sure that we're going to be able to get it from the biome we land in. Although it is Minmus, we can pretty easily hop to a different biome just with our EVA suits if we need to. So that is a possibility. I mean, it's Minmus. We can get into orbit with our... Oh, this bug? Oh, I hate it when the lighting doesn't work at the KFC. Let's see here. We need to go into mission control. Luckily, I know where that is. So that's fine. Anything else in here that we want to grab? I mean, we're definitely going to do this. We can grab that contract. There we go. But what we're really interested in here is seeing greater flats, lowlands, or flats. Okay. Yep, that's what I thought. So back into the tracking station we go. The completely invisible tracking station. We do not need to track this debris anymore. We can get rid of that. Cool. And our moon landing machine, which should really probably be named the Minmus landing machine at this point, but it's close enough. Minmus is a moon. So we're going to position here, and we're going to come around to the periapsis. And we're going to bring down our apoapsis. Down to about 10 kilometers. So that'll be absolutely fine. We should remember to reset our equipment, but we can do that on the surface. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. So we should at this point look to bring our apoapsis down to approximately here. There we go. Cool. And now once we hit approximately here is, I think, when we're going to want to start our landing burn. So that'll be in surface retrograde. And we're going to want to warp to about... Actually, we'll just warp to 1 minute before. There we go. Cool. In space near the flats. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not too concerned about that necessarily, although I do miss... I'm sad that we didn't get that EVA report. But it's okay. So we're going to start that burn shortly. This is going the wrong direction. Okay. We want to move this maneuver to, in fact, be over here. I was thinking about it going the wrong way. We are retrograde. So we're just going to go ahead and warp to this next maneuver, but this time we're going to grab an EVA report if we can get one. In fact, let's just manually warp it. Cool. Bob, EVA. Grab that EVA report. Hop back in. We don't really need to be at retrograde right now, but now we know that there aren't really any others on this orbit, or at least there weren't any last time. It's theoretically possible that we dip into another biome, but I don't think that's going to be the case. We're going to warp around and prepare for this landing, which will be basically any time now. We'll position retrograde. We don't care about this maneuver at this point. So we'll position retrograde here, and we want to come down in the Great Flats here. Or rather, this is a Greater Flats. I can't remember if it was Great Flats or Greater Flats, but whatever. If we have to go to a different biome, we've got plenty of fuel. I'm not concerned about that. So let's go ahead and commence our landing burn once we are past this. Or about equal to it. So now should be fine. Now, my question here is, can we get away with landing this whole thing on Minmus? That would be slightly crazy, but maybe. We maybe can get away with that. Okay, so we can see our landing site here moving on in. Excellent. Let's go ahead and turn on our flight engineer. What do we got? 3 minutes, 30 seconds? Okay, sounds good. Let's warp forward a little bit here. And how are we doing now? About 2 minutes. Cool. So we know that this is going to be pretty flat, right? And I think that we can get away with this here on Minmus. Okay, about 54 seconds. Sounds good. I'm going to now physics warp so that I can actually keep an eye on our countdown. 20 seconds. Cool. Again, I'm not going to completely trust this, and we'll burn it at about 5. 7, 6, and 5. Commence burn. Okay, that was a pretty hefty slowdown. And we will recommence the burn here now. Cool. Fantastic. Just keeping an eye on our altitude here, as well as our velocity. I'm just going to start dropping our velocity a tiny amount here as we come on in. Cool. Okay, going into stability assist now. Dropping down our throttle ever so slightly. Okay. The question is, are we stable? The answer appears to be yes. Beautiful. So we don't lose this fuel for now. Okay, so that means that we have way more fuel than we ever planned, but that's completely fine. So we're going to grab all of our science that we can here. We are going to retract this photovoltaic panel. And this does, of course, mean that we're going to have some difficulties with transferring these bits. I'll have to think about how we want to handle that, but that is a job for next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and next episode we'll figure out exactly how we want to handle this one. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think we may be able to just jump this, if I'm honest. So that'll be fine. That'll be fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H. My notepad just went behind another object on my monitor. Okay, that's exciting. And I'm not sure where I was in this. So I'm going to start over with the Peers of the Realm. Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.